Hello and welcome to our first video of fitness in history. We're going through the 80s, the 70s, even the 30s. We're going to be looking at some videos that might be, a little bit iffy. I'm a bit worried about what we're going to see, but let's get into it. So the first video we're going to go through, supposedly it's from the 1980s. Hopefully you guys have seen it. Let's have a look. So, already good cardio. They're doing a lot of the hands. The hands are going to get tired just from clapping, but they all look very happy, and I'm loving the synchronization. The outfits, I would definitely wear this leotard. Oh, okay. So, that one exercise with the reach and the crunch, what that's doing is working your abs and just definitely cardio. All of this is great exercise, but I'm excited for what's about to be said. Let's see. It's catchy. So here's the thing. The issue with this is that there is no instructional side to it. I don't know if there's another thing that says this is how you do the dance move, where it takes it slower. I'd say it's not the best thing for like an educational thing, but I know that's obviously not what this is. Dancing is a great way to build a lot of strength, a lot of explosive power, a lot of core control, a lot of stability, muscle definition, burn loads of energy, lose loads of weight if that's your goal. Okay, so we're about to do vintage workout technology. You can see what we're about to look at. Let's go.
The vibratory belt, according to the logic of a real cool informant, is definitely square. Its principle, he asserts, may be traced back to times when the population was wont to dig the shimmy in Vibratesville. We're prepared to agree, though, that things have certainly changed on the beauty front. This apparatus, for example, at a new mechanized gym in London, costs £10,000 to design and uses a system of weights and pulleys lifting up to 150 pounds.
Very interesting. Very interesting that is when the lat pull down was created. So that's the lat pull down, which is in every single gym, and it's one of the biggest things that's used by bodybuilders, strength athletes, endurance athletes, just to help with lats. So with her lat pull down exercise, how she's doing it, for the first moment she's doing lats, and then it transitions and changes to a different exercise and it stops isolating the lats. When we're doing our lat pull down, elbows coming down, this is the end of our position, because all I can do is squeeze my lats here. Any further, which right now they're doing this, they're adding internal rotation at the bottom, that's starting to use actually a different part of your shoulder and isn't hitting your back anymore. So our arms come down to our sides and the bar stops here. Also, I've just realised that they're in heels.
And here is the aptly titled butterfly machine. The girl is now at the chrysalis stage, but as more weight is put on underneath, the wings become increasingly difficult to lift, as any butterfly will tell you.
So this butterfly machine that we can see right now, really interesting because it's pretty much just a pec deck. It's the actual adduction of your arm coming across your body, so that your chest will be activating to bring that across. There's a cylinder that you slide down a bar to where the closer it is to you, the more weight is being added. The more you bring it across to the top to where you're actually doing your flies, it's going to be heavier. It's really interesting to see in a way of how they designed it mechanically.
Not to be confused with an American close harmony group is the high-low roller, demonstrated here and designed to massage all parts of the body. Furthermore, in the age of mechanization, you can always switch off.
Why was that for so long? The mechanized roller, you still get them sometimes. Actually, there's some gyms that still have them because they say, well, you should lay over them, and they don't roll over like that as much, I don't think, but you can have something. It's like a foam roller, it's very similar.
And don't shrug this exercise off as something you've seen before. This is the phenomenon of the century.
Now, firstly, love that it's all aimed at women in the gym. It's tough because he's kind of saying things like, you should be changing which is still marketing that's used right now. Obviously, we've come leaps and bounds now to great reasons why you should be doing fitness for longevity in life, health, feeling better, instead of just how do you look. But it's really good that they're still targeting doing exercise towards women. Even back then, to be promoting, hey, here's a gym and this woman's doing bench press. There are still women now that it's difficult to feel the confidence to want to do bench press because it's a big scary exercise and big angry men do it. My girlfriend benches more than me. However, where this person, who I'm assuming is someone who's trying to help her learn, her hand placement on her core is like a really unsafe place to do that, because she can still drop the bar onto herself, and at the same time it's a really inappropriate place to be placing your hand on someone. Really, you don't need to be that tactile in those places just for other people's insecurities and things. Physical fitness, government's concern for the nation. This was 36.
From the throne at the opening of Parliament, His Majesty the King used these words: "I am impressed with the need for more comprehensive efforts to improve the physical condition of the nation, especially among the younger members of the community." And today, the President of the Board of Education and the Minister of Health watch a demonstration by Battersea schoolboys of what can be done. It's rumoured that the government will eventually extend this form of training to every school in the country. Later, Sir Kingsley Wood makes a brilliant suggestion as to how we might improve the country's government.
Oliver, you have suggested that you and I should do this physical exercise ourselves. Why not extend it to the whole cabinet or even the House of Commons? How much fitter?
Very interesting. Okay, so
we should all be.
Obviously this is an educational, probably put before a movie advert type thing of like, you should join the war, with the government explaining the concern for the nation of health and exercise and making sure that people are physically fit. If this was 1936, then that's very close to war times and or after First World War times. So a lot of what they're focusing on when they do these exercises is physical preparedness, is functional exercises. They weren't using a lot of weights, but let's talk about some of these exercises. Star jumps, but where interestingly, they're doubling up with arms. So often we get a star jump when we're out, then in, then out, then in. They're kind of going out, in, out, in. So they're kind of doing almost the double unders equivalent of our star jumps. Very cool to see. Here they're stretching their adductors and then stretching their core. It's interesting that they're using a little bit more dynamically, more of a snap with it. I don't know if that's then to focus more so on your core. Get into the stretch and come out of it without it being too painful. Here, there's two things going on, so I'm going to have to break it up into like a pause. There's lads on the beams, where it seems like they're coming down into a really close lunge and standing up again. So that's a big focus on trying to have strong enough leg strength and a lot of stability when you're on that beam at the same time. Quite a lot of this is actually gymnastics based and body weight based. The kids doing the backwards rolls. Good technique. Interestingly, I would wrap knees in more, be more of a ball, because they had quite straight legs as they roll backwards, and it looks like they've got two big like flat carpets is almost what they're rolling on in their giant wooden gymnasium. You still have gymnasiums like this and it's brilliant. Ropes and wood along the walls, very interesting. Running up to the horse, hopping over and twisting, very interesting. Diving through a hole, almost suicide diving, and then also, wow. So all of those exercises, very dynamic, very explosive, running jump into something technical. It's a good way to build functionality, and the main focus there is obviously gymnastics. I do find it interesting, the standard that they had all the boys with no tops on and just on shorts. Not a thing that we would do now with safeguarding, but if that's the norm and everyone else felt fine about it, that's okay. Right, now into Strongman, 1944. This guy does look like a strongman.
From strength to strength, we can't do better than introduce Emil Koroshenko, who claims to be the world's strongest strongman. Give him a pack of cards and he'll call for 2 packs, 104 cards, and gosh, what a hand. Ask him to cut them and just to be awkward, he'll tear them. That's the sort of man Corporal Koroshenko is. He's a member, by the way, of the Czechoslovak forces in this country.
So yes, very difficult thing to do. Actually, with that, it's a magic trick. anyone can do it with tearing it, because you actually just like with a phone book, you need some strength, sure, but you push the pages or the cards so that they have a little space. So you start by tearing just one card, and then you tear the next card, and they all have a little bit of space. So you're actually only tearing individual cards at a time. Where if you were to squeeze it all together and try and tear, you wouldn't be able to. So how he actually did it is a little bit of a magic trick, and that's one of the biggest things about strongmen back then, is they did a lot of magic tricks that look like it's absolutely crazy, but actually it's fun trick. Let's get going.
Koroshenko's proportions are all to scale. Put a heavy chain, complete with a padlock, round his manly chest, and
I thought he was putting them on his nipples.
he'll show you how to expand it, that is the manly chest, from 49.5 inches to 56 inches. He's a snappy little chap, is our Emil. He keeps himself in trim by bending bars of iron. This bar is the genuine article which we tested before he began to play with it. His neck measures nearly 21 inches, and as you can see, there is enormous strength at both ends. Bending the bar across the neck was a comparatively simple matter. Bending the bar over the nose is more of a family affair.
So, just from the lack of tension in the front of his body, I don't think that he's genuinely doing that. Because all of this is relaxed with him leaning back. He would be in so much tension if that was a tough bar to bend. So I don't think that bar is too difficult to actually bend. He's got amazing showmanship. It's fake, but in all the right ways.
But our smiling corporal hasn't finished yet. He's told us that what he's about to do now, he'd like to do with the neck of that other corporal.
Yeah, no, it's not.
And there you are, V for victory in iron.
Very interesting, very cool to see. Definitely not iron. Strong man, very strong, but at the same time, most of that is beautiful showmanship. It's like, it is the equivalent of watching magic, but you're using strength. Now when you Google strongman, it's a completely different thing. There's set regulations for making sure that there's certain weights, and there's big mechanisms that look even more outrageous, but is still exceptionally difficult to do. Right, let's go on to the next one. Girl weightlifters, 1954.
At a Paddington, London gymnasium, we pay a visit to the weaker sex. Mavis, a 23-year-old clerk, is one of hundreds of Health and Strength League girls who get themselves, and more important, their figures in trim.
So, already, women, firstly, thank you very much, not the weaker sex. That is...
For a chest exercise, she has shown the correct dumbbell press.
Dumbbell press, still do those.
Before the girls are allowed to use weights, they undergo a toughening up course. This exercise is for the leg and stomach muscles. Jean Elliott, 20-year-old American housewife who came to this country 2 years ago, is one of the keenest of the Keep Fit girls. For the record, vital statistics are 37, 23, 36.
Oh, jeez, I can't believe that they say in the inches of what she looks like. That's so crazy. Yeah, I mean, okay, let's talk about some of the exercises real quick. So we were doing dumbbell bench press. That's really good. That's actually great for your chest. She was doing it a little bit too high. I'd probably bring the arms back down. Someone was going through what we're going to call an induction, where they were learning some more movements, getting to a physically strong position to then be able to use a bit more of the weights. I would recommend that for some people. It's more about learning the technique of those movements and you using body weight to learn about yourself to then be able to go on. Less so that, well, she's weak, so therefore she can't do it yet. And when she's strong and looks like a girl who should be doing fitness, that's not okay. That's the wrong mindset to be having about this.
This exercise is for the calves, a difficult muscle to mold, but these girls don't lack enthusiasm. Pile on those weights, brother, it's hurting me more than you.
The calf exercise again, we've already talked about this one before. She's taking a little bit more time, so actually it's a bit better for how she's doing it.
Once into their stride, the girls find all aches disappear. Now you're getting the hang of it.
First thing I agree with him on, if you start exercise and you take a bit of time to be able to help with your endurance, you're going to stop aching as often as when you first start. You're really going to be in pain when you first start, and then it's going to ease off.
With proper supervision, weight training is proving a boon to fat and thin who are otherwise fit. It might be easier to take vitamin pills, but this kind of iron does control the weight.
Well, that one was interesting. I didn't like what the guy was saying. I loved all of the exercises they were doing, all the exercise machines. None of them were old ones that aren't used anymore. Yeah, the exercises in that video, banging, beautiful, best out of all of them. Narration, sexism, very not opposite end, negative, bad times. Right, that's it for the videos that we're going over today. Hopefully you've enjoyed them. It was really interesting delving into a little bit of the history that comes to the forefront of where we're at with exercise and fitness and the industry today. Though obviously there are some bits of knowledge that actually still hold true today from the 1950s, the 1930s. If you like the video, that would be really helpful. It'll help us know that you appreciate us and love us very much. If you subscribe, that means you get to watch more videos and you get to see one every Friday. And have a good new year. See you guys. Bye.